All right. Hey, everyone. I'm Justine Zavitz with Zavitz Insurance and Wealth. And today I have a good friend of mine, Mike Massey. He's also known as Mindful Mike.
That's
And
it.
so we obviously are in some wild times right now with COVID, having to work from home, playing multiple roles with our kids and homeschooling and everything's a little bit different. And one of the tools that this is taking on so many people that I've been talking to and hearing from is on mental health. There's a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, a lot of COVID dreams and whatnot. And so I thought Mike, being the expert in mindfulness, would be the perfect person to tap into. I also know that Mike has been busier than ever because probably got some great insight into what people are feeling and what he's talking about these days. So I wanted to share some of the love and expertise from Mike.
Sweet. Thanks, my dear. So maybe I'll just go over what mindfulness is first. We should do that in case maybe someone who's watching this has no idea what mindfulness is, instead of me just blabbing about that. So what mindfulness is to me and how I teach it is the ability to train your mind to focus on one thing and not manipulate it. So that's hard for many people, as you know, because we have thousands of thoughts a day, roughly like 70 to 80,000. So when we're meditating, we're watching, let's say, our breath. So this would be like our breath. We're watching it. And then our mind has a thought about like what we're doing for dinner. So what are you doing for dinner?
I have no idea.
Okay, perfect. Okay. This is perfect.
I'm probably
Right?
ordering in
It is.
tonight. Truthfully,
Okay,
it's
great.
Friday.
All right. Okay, that's good. That's what I'm thinking too. So let's say we're watching our breath and you're trying to get all zen and calm, and what people think mindfulness is, which it isn't zen and calm. It's paying attention. So we're paying attention to our mind or our breath, let's say. And then we have this thought about dinner. And we're like, well, crap, I don't have anything to, or I'll just order out. So then what are you going to order out? So then your mind goes into like, what was the last three things we ordered out? Or what did the kids like? Or what does Adam want? And our mind goes to like all of these narratives in microseconds. And then we're like, oh crap, I'm supposed to be meditating. Then we come back to our breath. Like that's literally what mindfulness is. Like people think it's this thing where you like, shave your head and you move to a monastery and you like close your eyes and then you open your eyes and it's like all peace and calm and love. And that's not what it is, right? It's just like, it's this training of how can we pay attention for moments at a time and then regain that energy by bringing it back. See, most people, if I work with who are, one-on-one or when I'm doing webinars or in the real world when I'm doing workshops, everyone I work with is busy, right? There's no one that I work with who comes to my office and says, hey, I have like an hour extra a day or two. Like, can I be mindful? Like, that's never a thing, right? People come to me because they want to be more efficient with their mind because
Right.
they're in here thinking about stuff that like might happen, and that's not helpful. So like right now with people, what I'm finding all the time is they're coming in to my virtual office or my webinars that I'm doing, and they're so caught up in what might happen, like what might happen with their finances 6 months from now, right? What might happen with their loved one's job. Like I was talking to people today who are masseuse, and they're like, I have no idea when I can work with people ever again. They're like, I have no idea. And they both have that job,
Yeah.
right? So their worries are way different than my worries. And I can work digitally, right? I can see people face to face. I can do webinars. I can do, social media. But there's people who are working frontline who are battling a different beast altogether, right? Those nurses and doctors are working frontline. Their stress is different. Now that's not comparing to someone's stress who's not working. It's just their stress. And what I'm finding happening all the time is people are comparing, like I was just talking to a teacher and she said, well, I shouldn't be so stressed because at least I'm getting paid. And she's like, there's so many people who aren't getting paid. I said, well, you aren't all of those people. You have to work with your stress of getting paid, but trying to work from home in this new format, which is stressful. Plus she's a parent of 3 daughters who are home with her.
Yes.
Right. So I think that's what I'm seeing a ton is people are not being compassionate to themselves, that they're more caught up in comparing or caught in the future with what might happen.
I'm so
So
guilty of that. I've said that so many times
yeah,
to people. Like in the grand scheme of things, I have nothing to
right.
complain about. Both my husband and I are still working. We're both healthy.
Sure.
Kids are healthy. Our whole family's healthy. Touch wood on all
Sure.
of that. And so I shouldn't complain. But at the end of the day, I'm sitting here just whining.
Right. But in
I can't
reality,
go out for dinner. That's
right. But that is a frustration, right? Like you know me pretty well, but what I like to do is I like to give extreme examples because then it really puts it in perspective, right? So when I'm dealing with, let's say, like last year when my buddy Scott died, right? This is a perfect example, and this is like a hard turn left, but I think it gives an example of how important self-compassion is. Because if I go into when he was in the ICU and I'm like, well, he's sick and that's got to be so hard for his wife, which it was, and his two kids, which it was.
Mhm.
But if I go, well, I shouldn't be sad because how much harder it is for her, then I'm never working with my sadness or my frustration or my hurt, right? It's very important for me to go, wow, this is really hard for her, but it's also really hard for me right now. See, and this is the problem, is that in our culture, we have this thing of selfish is bad, and it's not. To put a little of energy into your mental health every day makes sense to me. Like, we're so aware of how we work out our body, and we're so aware of, like, if you eat well, there's a better chance you're going to live longer, right? If you exercise, like, we know that the data is no different with how the mind works, right? If we are purposely paying attention to our breath or to our body a couple times a day throughout the day, I'm talking 2 or 3 minutes at a time. I'll talk about that, how we do that later. But if we do that over and over again, a subtle practice, doing that 3 or 4 times a week, has a significant impact in 8 weeks, a significant impact on your brain, right? The reason they let me into hospitals and work with, right now I'm working with currently up to 12 hospitals, right? Mainly with their physicians, not with patients, mainly with their staff on burnout, right? And why did they let me in hospitals? Because what I teach is based on science, right? It's a systematic training of the brain. And the more your mind wanders off and you bring it back, the more you do that formally by like guided listening meditations, the easier it's to do formally or informally when you need it, right? So if you are with your partner and you're trying to have a discussion and your mind's wandering off to work or to emails or what are the kids doing, and you can go, oh, that's a thought, let me come back to what we're saying. That if you do that in your practice 1,000 times, you can easily do it in a conversation, right? And if you're thinking about work stuff and you're working and you feel like this emotion here getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then your mind goes, yeah, and this might happen, and this might happen, and this might happen, and you're able to catch that and go back into more of the worry of what's present, then you can actually address what's happening and not like the byproduct of what might happen. Because that might happen might never happen. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think if people start just noticing, 1, what's present, 2, and where is it present, and just getting comfortable labeling that to themselves, it allows them to work with what's actually happening versus the narrative of what might happen, or the narrative of comparing me to you.
So true. I can see how that could be so impactful, especially in this situation right now, because you're right. Some people
Right.
have it worse than us. Some people have it better than us. We could live
Totally.
where we'd be allowed to hang out with 6 people as of next weekend.
Right. Right. Exactly. Right.
Yeah, 6 people would be amazing. But yeah, so, no, I can see how that would take a toll on your mental health. So I want to start drawing attention to your website for a minute, because your website has excellent resources on it. And when all of this started, you went straight to work on a 4-week program called Cultivating Calm.
Correct.
And what is it in the 4-week program of Cultivating Calm that you walk people through these guided meditations? What are the focuses of each meditation, and how do they build upon each other week over week?
Great. So the whole idea of Cultivating Calm was to do short practices formally, like 3, 4, 5-minute practices, so they can use it informally in life, right? So the one we actually talked about, which is what is present. So I have people identify formally, earbuds in, listening to my voice, what's present. So let's do this with you. So the last time you were anxious, worried, or upset was when? You don't tell me the whole narrative, but just what day?
Yeah, probably this morning.
Okay, great. Okay. So
I can't say for sure, but I'm like, it wasn't that long ago.
So if you were to think of that, so if we say what is present, what was present there? Anger, frustration, which one?
It was more the anxiety, I would say. Pit and stomach, like grip.
Perfect. So we go, what is present? That's the one, right? What's present? Anxiety. Where is it present? Stomach?
Yeah.
You said? Okay. Yeah. So then we go stomach. So what? Where? Okay, we know that. Then this is the tricky part. What's the purpose of this anxiety? So the anxiety, I know, right? So anxiety is usually there to warn us or prepare us about something, or to protect us about something.
Okay.
Okay. So when we look at our emotions, because we don't have these emotions for no reason, we have emotions for survival purposes, right?
Okay.
Let's say like the Massey and Lucas clan lived together, which obviously would be amazing fun, right? But this was like, I don't know. Okay. So let's say we,
Picturing it. It's
yeah, it's like some
all
sort of
sorts of new
code.
emotions. I can't even
Yeah.
name them.
So let's say it's like some sort of like COVID commune. Okay. Lucas is there and the Gorman's there, and Benson can come too, I guess, if he wants, right? So we're all in this like amazing commune. But let's go 3,000 years ago. We're in a cave, and Justine and I were like, "Hey, we're hungry. Let's go out hunting." So you and I go out because we're the hunters, I guess, in this scenario. But you and I probably be the least hunters there. But we go out, and then it's kind of dusk, and we see a bush kind of rattle, and I'm like, "Let's get out of here. That's probably a tiger." All right. And as we're running, we're both experiencing anxiety and we're experiencing this adrenaline rush. And then we look back and we realize it's like a little squirrel, and then we laugh. But we experience unnecessary anxiety for a purpose. Because if that was an actual tiger, you are not here to talk about it.
Right.
See, the anxiety that you had this morning has a purpose. And that purpose was probably to warn or protect you, or to say, hey, watch out for this.
Wow.
Okay. And that's when week one, or part one of the series of Cultivating Calm. It's really to go in and to just recognize what is present, where is it present, but what's the purpose behind it. I came up with this practice fairly recently. Like in November, I was working with a group of doctors, and they brought me in, but I didn't know if all of them wanted me to be there. There's 23 of them, and I was like, I don't know how this is going to go. So I noticed that before I went into the workshop that I was anxious, which is fairly unusual for me because I do 200 or 300 of these a year. But I felt anxious, and I said, okay, what's present? Well, the anxiety. Where is it present? Well, it's very clear. It's in my mind, more future oriented. What if I screw up, or I don't have my stats right? Or what if they don't like it? I'm just there for half a day and they're just looking at me. That's like a public speaker's fear, right? So I'm noticing all that is future, not happening, but it might happen. And then I said, okay, what's the purpose of this? Well, clearly it's to prepare me. So I have all my ducks in line, everything in order. That's the point of that. So I don't leave there with a bunch of shame and going, well, I wish I prepared more. The anxiety, guilt, shame, hurt, anger are all there for reasons. But learning how to work with them in a healthy way, to me, that's the key, right? Is unpacking that. And the second part of the practice of part one on Cultivating Calm is actually the practice of working with emotions in a better way, which is if you're holding anger like this. I don't know what I have. Okay, I have a glasses cleaner. Okay. So let's say this is anger, and I'm holding this anger as tight as I can, right? Is this the only way I can hold it? Absolutely not. Do most of us hold it this way? Yes. Because you could have made me upset 4 years ago, and I'm like, yeah, that Justine, remember when she said that? And I'm still holding it like it happened 4 years ago. Yeah. The point of noticing emotions is to ask, can I hold the same substance or energy in a lighter way, right? Can I hold it like this instead of like this? And that's the second practice, is noticing emotions, right? So if people are interested, it's on my site, 100% free, right? You just go to mindfulmike.ca, you go to services and Cultivating Calm, and it's all laid out there. And people can just go on and just try these don't try a BS word. Just do those practices. Right? Because if I say to you, Justine, if I say, okay, try to stand up, you just stand up. Right? So when people say, oh, I'm going to try that, I'm like, that's an excuse. That's an exit for your brain to go, I'm not going to do this. No, thanks. Just do it. Right? I personally never not seen this work. Obviously, I'm biased. This is all I do with my life, is I pay my mortgage and everything. Right? But I've never not seen it work if someone really commits to a practice. I've seen it not work hundreds of thousands of times if you don't do it. Right? So if people just start with a basic practice of what is present, earbuds in, press play, they go to part one, they work with noticing emotions. That's going to give them a basic example of how to use mindfulness in real life, in real time.
And I love that it's like 5-minute segments.
Yeah.
Because most people can find 5 minutes.
Yeah, everyone can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we want to spend 5 minutes looking at ourselves? No. Do we want to because the mindfulness is a gym for the mind, right? So do we want to go to the gym? Not really. Like I have lots of resistance to go to the gym, and my gym's in my basement. Right? Yeah, I know. It's like, today I was like, well, I don't want to go for a run. It's like kind of cold. It's like, you'll be fine. just go. But there's so much resistance to doing that. And that's not just a gym thing. This is a mindfulness thing. The reason I have a job, if mindfulness was easy, I'd be back in social work.
Yeah.
Right. The reason I have a job and that I'm busy is that mindfulness, it's hard. It's hard to train your mind because your ego makes up all these reasons you shouldn't do it. Right. Like if you're working out, getting ready for Beachbody and you're like, hey, I've been doing it really great. And your mind's like, you know what? You've been doing so good. You deserve 2 scoops of ice cream. I'm like, yeah, I do. Then I have those 2 scoops. And then your mind's like, you idiot. You're trying to lose weight. What are you doing? Yes. Yeah. After you're done that 2 scoops, that Cab Sav? You should probably crack that open.
You know what goes really well with ice cream? Red
All
wine.
the wine. Yeah. And that's why I have a job. You know? And I was like the best time to practice typically is the morning, because you get up and practice right away. Because as the day goes on, statistically speaking, your willpower does this. Right. And if you had to deal with a bunch of BS or emails at work or frustrating humans or children when you're trying to work and you restrain from doing anything to them, that takes willpower. That willpower, if you were banking on that to do a practice later in the day, if you use that or exhaust that at work or at home, it literally is not there at the end of the day. And self-care takes a hit.
That's why I work out in the morning too.
Good.
Every time I tell myself, it's okay, you'll have time at 4 o'clock. There's not a chance.
Right. Lies.
Yeah.
Fake news.
Yeah. Fake news. Yeah.
Fake news, man. Yeah. So I think that's a good place for people to start.
Yeah.
Right. And then, you and I can obviously check in if we want to do a second part on like what the second, series looks like or that kind of, we can figure it out. But people can always question me via Instagram, Mindful Massey, MASSE, or on my site, mindfulmike.ca. Contact Mike. I'm really good at getting back to people if they have questions about the practice.
That's amazing, Mike. Yeah, I do want to keep this short so that everyone needs to find time in their day to do these things. But I think that was an excellent starting point, and I think we should revisit this again.
Cool.
Is there one last thought you want to share?
Be kind to yourself.
Yes.
Just try to. This is more like a week 3 thing in the Cultivating Calm. But often I find that we're so hard on ourselves, and I say treat yourself like you're talking to someone that you love.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're like, oh, I should be better at that. Like if your wife or your partner was saying that, would you say you should be better at that to them? Or would you be like, well, it's okay. You've had a busy week.
Do you know what's so funny is I tell Scarlett all the time, be kind to yourself, because if she makes a mistake, she's so hard on herself. And so I'll say just be nice to yourself. You have to be nice to yourself first. So there you go.
Do that to self.
Yes. So true. Okay. Thank you.
Sweet.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.